Okay, so here's part 2 of the third Selah of Psalm 119. And because we're dealing with in-between letters, we're not going to talk about a particular letter, but PEI-TzADI, pizza, the if that which is hidden, that which has been sealed up, remember Daniel 12 was told by the archangel Gabriel, hide the words, seal the book until the time of QOOF-YOD-TET, Kutza, end. YHUH can mean wake up. It also can mean the summer harvest. So if this is throughout human history, the chronological development of the history of the universe, there's people who say, well, these days, here it is 2025, and the dawning of the age of Aquarius, something's about to change, pole shift, the currents of the ocean, they say, recently started running backwards. How do they do that? Whatever. But something, the great reset, the world's going to change. Well, whatever they mean by that, who knows? But if this is the time that the words that Daniel was told to hide and sealed are unhidden and unsealed, are Shin PEI-TzADI, that the Shin Pei Nun is made Shin PEI-TzADI, that the Nun is Zadi, nuts. Remember the word Natzach, like Manatzach is the conqueror, the overcomer, the conductor of the orchestra, immortalized, perpetual. There's all these words of splendor and glory. For Yahuwah's people to come back and be his people is Natzach. Yahuwah, I failed to find the exact verse where he said it, but he said something to the equivalent of, as much as I wasn't kidding when I said, if you guys, Israel, didn't listen to my voice and do what I say, then it's all coming apart. Leviticus 26, Deuteronomy 28 looks like world history. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be so bad you'll even virtually wish you'd never been born. World history. But as much as I wasn't kidding about how bad it was going to be and what I was going to do in terms of my disfavor, I also wasn't kidding even more that when you guys, Israel, return to my word, Deuteronomy 30, that I'm going to pour out and lavish my blessing, my affection on you, to you. But you gotta come back and listen to my voice. What's mishpat? See, for us to look at that verse, Jeremiah 8:7, and say that there's something called the ALEF-TAV Mishpat Yahuwah. If you don't know ALEF-TAV, well, that's just a throwaway word. No, that's the most important word of the entire scripture is ALEF-TAV. One word never translated. What's it mean? And if you can sefer the ALEF-TAV letters, the letters between Aleph and Tav, I'm suggesting that that is suffering ALEF-TAV, but other people may disagree and say, what a arrogant, who does he think he is that he knows ALEF-TAV when even the wisest of the wise know that you don't translate ALEF-TAV. The wisest of the Jews or the Hebrew speakers that have studied the language for centuries don't even attempt to sefer ALEF-TAV. How dare you think that you can proclaim the suffering of ALEF-TAV? I'm letting you know that this subject matter is of critical regard just because to some it's an impossibility. And I'm saying, no, it's not an impossibility. Here it is. And is that true or not? But if he says, even the stork knows its moedi, its timing, and then he gives 3 other birds' names, and they know the time of the arrival or the time that they're supposed to do something, but my people don't know. ALEF-TAV Mishpat Yahweh. So you have to go back and look at that and say, well, what's Mishpat? And if you say, well, that's the word teaching or instruction, that's not the word teaching or instruction. Torah is instruction. Lamed is teach. Tanah, that might be teach. Stipulations. Dabar, that might be the matter, the thing. But see, he didn't say those other words. What he said was mishpat, and mishpat is the balancing of scales. We talked about that in particularly at the letter ayin, and we talked about at the other previous letters like kaf and lamed that Yahweh said something. I'm going to give you something to do, and if you do it, I'll give you the blessing because you did what I said to do. And if you don't do it, you get cursed because you didn't do what I said to do. Because you, Israel, are connected to me, YHUH, the Elohim of Israel. No other deity even exists, but this specific consciousness, YHUH, Adonai YHWH, Elohim Israel. That description at his preference of those words to describe himself is a unique relationship between any deity, conjured, imaginary or not, and any people group, again, whether it's legitimate or not, culturally identified, genetically identified, but he identifies his people by regarding his voice. That's the people group. And his voice happened to speak Hebrew. Some think Aramaic or Greek, but another conversation. What did he speak? But it's these 22 letters of Hebrew as I regard. So what's ALEF-TAV mean? What's Mishpat mean? And who is Yahuwah? And if he, YHWH, the Elohim of Israel, has a complaint, and he tells us what the complaint is, just like he has a preference, chafat, he has a desire, and he tells us what that is, for us to know what his complaint is and what his desire is to know him. And as we said before, a couple of weeks ago, Psalms 91, verse 14, the last verse, because he knows me, he meaning some generic individual, one of his people, because he knows me, I will show him my salvation. Which means if you don't know Yahuwah, because it says the word because, on the condition of because specifically X, then Y happens. Like picture a teeter-totter. If you put this there, then this is going to launch. It's a catapult. There's a trebuchet, I think is the other word. That's what's going to happen. If then, because, for the sake of, lamed mem ayin nun, kaf yod. There's different words that set you up this and that. If aleph mem, well, wait a minute, aleph mem tav, tav is a kind of a neutral suffix, and that's the word truth. Aleph mem nun is amen. So be it. You can count on that. That's absolutely. See, those two words, aleph mem nun and aleph mem tav, are basically talking about the same solid reality for truth. Nun aleph mem, then, nam Yahweh, when he uses the phrase nam Yahweh, it means, so it is said, thus saith the Lord. No, it's more than that. So if you look at Jeremiah 7, verse 20, Lakan, Ka'amer, Adna Yahweh, Hine Afi. Why didn't he just say, why didn't he just speak? He spoke, that's what it is. But he says, Lakan. Well, Kaf Nun is yes, so truly thus. Lamed means of a truth. In other words, he's saying, really, I'm not kidding this time. I'm really telling the truth this time. He was always telling the truth. Ka Amer, so speaks, thus spake. Of a truth, thus spake Adonai, the one who is the determinator, Dalet Nun, Dan. I will judge myself. I will make the call myself. I will make the determination. I have determined, different ways to read Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yod. Adonai, translated simply Lord. Yahweh, Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, Hey, Vav, Hey. or hey yod hey or yod hey yod, those, any words that have those letters, yods, heys, and vavs, means to exist. So yod, prefix of hey vav hey, means he will cause it to exist. So if his name is he who causes it to exist, if he says something, he's going to cause it to exist, because that's who's, he says, whatever comes out of his mouth will not return void. It will accomplish what he intended it to accomplish. So why does he have to say, really, truly, I'm not kidding, I declare, all he has to do is speak, and it's going to happen. But so when you see a verse like verse 20, Lakan, Mer, Adonai, Yahuwah, behold, hey noon, hey, Afi, my nose, my character. It's like, there's these 6 words which are all just lining up saying, really, I promise, I swear, I mean it this time. And it's like, who's listening? Who's not listening? Are we supposed to be listening? Verse 21, Ka, Amer, Yahuwah, Zavot, Elhi, Israel. So declare, all he had to say is, do it. Remember the New Testament story. Yeshua's there, and a soldier, centurion, comes up and says, hey, I have a sick daughter. Could you give the word to heal her? I think that's what the story was. And Yeshua said, yeah, I'll come to your place. No, listen, I'm a military officer. If I say something, it has to be done. Just give the word. You don't have to waste your time coming to my abode. And Yeshua said, wow, I haven't seen such great faith in all of Israel. Sure, according to your faith, so be it. Your daughter's healed. Goes back, and she was healed at the same moment. Amer, Yahweh, Zavot, Elhi, Israel. It's like he's trying to get something into our consciousness that we don't want there, or haven't had put there, or we've got built up barriers of resistance, and he's trying to negotiate his way through to get into our inner being. Verse 22, Ki lo debarti et abotikam velo zoitim beyom ha watziai otam me'aretz Mitzrayim. Oh, well, the land of Israel, or land of Egypt. Al debari ula ve'zavach. Kilo debarti. I did not speak, give instruction. ALEF-TAV hyphenated with abot. Well, that's ab is father, abot, your fathers, kaf mem suffix your, but aboti is, tav yod is my. I didn't give word of my father, your father. See, you try to look at the letters and go, well, how does this work? Well, tav yod means I have or I will, but ab is father. Abot then should be fathers, but ab is desire, to have a will, to want something, or to energetically refuse. So you could say, I gave you a word about what I wanted or what I didn't want. And I did not command. TZADI vav is command. TZADI vav, yod tav, yod mem. I didn't give commands on the day of the TZADI yod aleph, the Exodus. TZADI aleph is go out, get out. So on the day that you guys left Egypt, the land of Egypt, I didn't say anything about. I didn't give you any commands about. Ayin Lamed there is the connector, meaning about or regarding. It's a yoke, it's a tether, it's a gimel. Debris, my word, my stipulation, what I cared about. Ayin Vav Lamed Hey is that which goes up, like a smoke signal or a burnt offering, and Zayin Bet Het, which is a feast offering or sacrifice. He said, on the day that I took you out of Egypt, it was never about, give me sacrifices, kill some animals, burn things up for me. Verse 23 says, this is the word. He, ALEF-TAV, Aleph Mem, if, on the condition of ALEF-TAV. Again, what does ALEF-TAV mean? Hadabar, the matter, Hey Zayin Hey, this. And again, Zion means to distinguish or make special or to cut off. It's to exclusively pay attention, like Yeshua having the crown of thorns or somebody having a weapon. TZADI Vav Yod Tav Yod. I TZADI Vav. TZADI Vav is the command. This command. ALEF-TAV Tav Mem. Well, that's just translated them because ALEF-TAV or ALEF-TAV Hey is word translated you, Y-O-U. But so ALEF-TAV Tav, though, is a sign, symbol, an oath. It's pronounced oath or oaths or oath, if the tav is a th phonetic value. And it means the conditions and terms of agreement. It's a contract. So it's a symbol, a sign, a symbol, it's a letter of the alphabet. So a glyphic shape that means something about terms of agreement. Raise your hand and swear. Why do you raise your hand? Well, there's a gesture that says, I promise, or across your heart, I promise. The same type of a thing. Every letter is an ALEF-VAV TAV, ot. It's called otiot if you pluralize it, but otam is that I gave them my word, my symbols, my signal of oath, la amer shema, declaring, amer shema bekoli, listen to my voice. So on the day that they left Egypt, what it was all about is listen to my voice. Shema bekoli. That's the command. Vav Pei Yod Yod Tav Yod. Well, Hey Yod Yod is to exist. Lakam for them. Lamed Aleph Lamed Hey Yod Mem as Elohim. He says, listen to my voice, and I will be for you Elohim. I will be as Elohim. I will be the Elohim. I'll be your God, your powerful hero. Listen to my voice. And you, they, Aleph Tav Mem, Tav Hey Yod Vav, exist, Lamed Yod, for me, Lamed Ayin Mem, as people. You listen to my voice. I'll be your God. You'll be my people. I'll be your Elohim. Vav Hey Lamed Kaf, Havaka. Oh, that's walk. Bakal Haderek, on all the way. Well, who? Those people? It says Haderek is the way. Hey means the, and Dalet Resh Kaf is Derek, which is way. But see, Dalet Resh is also generation, and Kaf means your. And the entire your generation is another way to read the way. Asher, who that which. Aleph TzADI Vav Hey. Well, TzADI Vav again means command. Aleph means I will. And then Aleph Tav Kaf Mem, you all, with you all, Lamed Mem Ayin Nun, Lema'an. Well, that means for the sake of, so that you guys have to listen to my voice. I'll be your Elohim, you'll be my people. Walk on the whole way. Your generation, besides the ones previously, your generation walks on the entire way that I commanded. So that Yod Yod Tet Bet, well, Tet Vav Bet is Tov, or Tet Yod Bet, or Yod Yod Tet Bet. It's good, welfare, benefit, everything like the full basket, Lamed Kaf Mem for you. Well, what do you have to do? Walk the way he said to. That's the command. Walk the way I commanded you. That's verse 23 of Jeremiah 7. So if that's what he said, and that's the whole thing, it's not about sacrifices, it's about listen to my voice and walk on the way I told you to. I commanded you to. TzADI Vav, which is the Debar, which is the Amar, which is the Malal. Then if there's any teaching that said anything other than that, it's a trick. It's a trick from an enemy to deceive us and get us not to do what he said. I was talking to a friend and he said, well, Abraham was told, he was given a promise, Genesis 15, he's told to go out and sephir the stars. If you're able to sephir, count the stars if you're able to count them. Well, you can't count them. Okay, well, yeah, but Abraham believed, so it was credited him for righteousness. So you're told to do something you can't do, and if all you do is believe, then okay, well, then you're righteous. But see, Sefer means to tell the narrative story by connecting the dots. So Abraham didn't just believe. The word amen or amen or nun aleph mem nun means he was faithful, responsible as an artisan, as an artist who was trained and educated and skilled, which means he would have gone out and counted, no, Sefered the stars, count, give number value, tell the story, narrate, Sefer. Sefer is also a barber who shapes hair. It's also to describe a frontier, which is what? Draw a line connecting the force, connecting the monumental points that there's a river, there's a mountain. Okay, here's our territory. This is the border, the frontier, the hem. That's Sefering. To Sefer ALEF-TAV is to know what the letters mean and connect them together. And Abraham was told to Sefer the stars, and so would his family be. So the stars are then a story made out of pictures of connected dots, and they work in a circle. They work in a circuit. And Abraham would have been out there every night contemplating the stars, navigating the connections. Did he learn from previous generations? Maybe. Did he make stuff up? Maybe. He was told, as you Sefer the stars, Yahweh said, I will take it into consideration. I will reckon it to your family as righteousness. I will reckon it to you. I'll consider you righteous. If he says, I will reckon it to you, that means I will take into consideration how the story of your family is going to play out. See, there's no way to translate it. That's Genesis 15. And as my friend said, well, there was this right after that event. He says, here, I'm going to give you all this land. This will belong to your family. Well, what does Abraham have to do to get that land? Nothing, just believe. He was told to take a bunch of animals and cut them in half, and except for the birds, and he laid them there. And then he was knocked unconscious with a deep, dreadful sleep, some phase of hallucination, as it were. And then this image of a burning oven and a smoking oven, burning torch passes through the two halves of the animals. Abraham couldn't get up and walk through. So that means Abraham didn't have to do anything. So I've heard it taught in Christian church for many years that that's proof that there's nothing we're supposed to do. All we do is believe. Jesus died on the cross. He accomplished it all. And proven by the fact that Abraham had that event, there's nothing we can do. Abraham was told to count the stars. Nobody can count the stars. There's too many. They keep changing what you can see depending on the clarity. And so he couldn't have. So see, we take as a father model figure that we can't do anything that he said to do. So he told us a bunch of stuff just to get us so frustrated that when Jesus died on the cross, and I've heard this said, oh, thank you. Thank you for doing it all for me. So there's nothing I need to do. All I need to do is believe, and I'm saved. All I have to do is believe, and I'm considered righteous because I believe, because Yeshua is righteous. All I have to do is say, yes, I want to be your people, and I'm automatically your people. And then all the promises that you ever gave any of our forefathers are yea and amen, are true because Jesus died on the cross, and we've inherited them, and we don't have to do anything. Thank you so much. The only law is the law of love, and I love you for doing this, so thank you. That's what we're told. That's what I was learned. But then you read a thing like in 1 John 3, and it says, if you love Elohim, you'll do what he said. You'll keep his command. Yeah, the only law is the law of love. If you love me, love me. No, he gave us instructions. Do what he said. That's righteousness. Righteousness is doing what he said. If you don't do what he said, that's unrighteousness. That's wickedness. Or if you say he said to do something and then you say, no, we don't have to do it, that's wickedness. Yeah, but he would have told Abraham, Genesis 22:16, Vayomer bet yod, nun shin bet aleph tav yod, nam Yahweh. This is the first place where this phrase, nam Yahweh, shows up. The first place, according to looking at Brown Driver Briggs anyway. Declare by myself, of myself, and I absolutely swear, nun shin bet ayin, nam Yahweh. Then he signs, this is like the signet ring. That's why it's this graphic. Ki yan, that because asher ashit, that which you have done, this matter, hadabar hazah, lo chetchin kaf tav, you have not kept back, withheld, refrained, spared, et benka, et yod chet yod dalet kaf, you have not withheld your only son. Because you have done this thing, Abraham, you did this thing. See, this isn't the matter with cutting the animals in half. This is Abraham about to sacrifice his only son Isaac, as he was told. Verse 17, Ki barak a barakaka. So in blessing I will, there's that aleph in front of barak, in blessing I will bless you. When blessing? So then, if there's going to be a blessing, I am going to bless you, veha rava, aleph rava. So if there's going to be great important multiplication, I will greatly multiply in the importance. ALEF-TAV Zareka, your offspring, your seed. But see, Zayin Resh Ayin can also mean this strong arm. If I'm going to multiply something, I'm going to multiply your strong arm, or the strong arm of your offspring, like the stars of the heaven and like the sand that is on the seashore. But there's another way to read that. Like the stars. Kokav is star. Kokavim is plural. This is kokaviv, but kaf means like. So the kaf, kaf, vav, kaf, bet, yod. But kaf means like. Kokav is also a fire extinguisher. So the same word star is fire extinguisher. Kaf, bet, noon, you look at kaf, bet, yod here, or kaf, bet, yod, mem, but this, look at kaf, bet, noon, it means fasten, clamped, shish kebab, skewer. And then the word the heavens is hey, shin mem, yod mem, hashami. Well, that's my name, pluralized. Hashamim. So you could sit there and say, like the stars of the heavens, or you could say, can a star be extinguished? Did they know? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Does anybody know they're fire, that they're light, that they're water? That what are they? What is a star? Well, if a star like a light can be extinguished, and then you look at Revelation for the first 3 chapters, and Yeshua's sitting there saying to the 7 churches, I can extinguish you, that he's holding 7 stars in his hand. What's the mystery? And says, you don't do what I say, and you're out of here. But it also means to be shish kebab skewered with my name. We are pinned, we're fastened to his name. So if we don't know his name, and what's his name? Fame, renown, reputation. So it's our job to know Yahuwah and to exemplify Yahuwah and to represent Yahuwah. And if we don't know our Elohim, if we don't know what our God likes or doesn't like, or wants his people to believe and to do, if we don't know that, then we have to question whether we are even his people, or whether we even will be shown his salvation. The word for sand on the seashore, the word sand is hula, ka-hul. Hul means move in a circle, like the stars move in a circle, like doing the hula dance in Hawaii moves in a circle to tell a story, to whirl or dance. It means it will happen. The hula is a dance in the sand, spinning in circles, that tells a narrative story, like the stars in the sky spin and tell a story. It's also the word for phoenix, like the story of this mythical bird, which can die for whatever reason and be burned up into ashes and then resurrect out of the ashes. Is there really a phoenix? Is it a mythical story? What has that got to do with that? It's the word hul, or hula. And then it says on the shore of the sea, but the word shore, shin pei tav, which is the word we were looking at a few minutes ago with shin pei tav tav, or shin pei hey, which means of the lip, labial, and it means to put or place something over the fire, like putting the tea kettle on the fire, like I mentioned, but it also means to establish or ordain. And the word sea is hey yod mem. The hey yod mem is water or sea, but hey yod means here is. So I could look at the spelling of these words and say, there's a little bit more to the verse, but this is what he's basically saying. If when there's going to be a blessing, I will bless you and multiply, I will multiply your offspring, having strength, might, arm, fertility of DNA, having seed, like the stars of the heavens and the sand upon the seashore, the story in the circle, the revolving of stars, that which is ordained, determining the gaining of possession or the losing of it. Well, see, it's not just a story, but there's a story in the stars, and there's a story in the hula dance of the phoenix, which has to do with gaining possession or losing it, which is the meaning of the word Yerushalem, the gaining of your inheritance, or to be dispossessed and lose your inheritance. That's what this is about. And that's the next word, Yod, Resh, Shin, Yerash. It means to impoverish, make poor. It also means to inherit or take possession of, to seize or catch. Then it's the word your offspring, Zayin, Resh, Ayin, Kaf. Then here's ALEF-TAV, standalone, Sair, Shin, Ayin, Resh, Aleph, Yod, Bet, Yod, Kaf, which is your enemy. Well, what's Shin, Ayin, Resh? Cleave or split. Cut something, separate. It's the word for gate, assessment, value or measure, hairy, goat, or like a picture a goat that's in the storm of it means storm, tempest, horrible, terrible. It also means imagine or guess. It means hairy or even a single hair. So just picture this goat out in the rain, dark thunder clouds and lightning going off. And it's like that imagery is Shinai and Resh. But there was two sons of Isaac, who was the son of Abraham. And his two sons one was born that was hairy and the other one was smooth. And the hairy one was named Esau and the smooth one named Jacob, Yaakov. But Esau lived in a place that was called Edom, that means red earth because he had red hair, but it was also called Sair. So Sair is related to Esau because Sair means hairy. And your enemy then are going to calculate or assess the value of ALEF-TAV, which has to do with your offspring's power or strength, making them poor and being impoverished or taking possession. So there's going to be this dynamic struggle, and it's all in the word Sair. And the struggle is going to be either you, your offspring, or your enemy is going to get what's up for grabs, which is the inheritance that I, Yahweh, am promising you, Abraham. That's verse 17. Verse 18. Vav he tav barak o. And he blessed Bet, Zayin, Resh, Ayin, Kaf. Well, Zayin, Resh, Ayin is, again, your seed or your offspring. Bet is the belonging to, or the condition of. The Bet prefix, Kaf suffix is yours. So, and the blessing belonging to your offspring. Kal goyi. Well, the word goyim is the plural of nations, and this is Gimel Vav Yod, goy, usually regarded as Gentile, non-Jew, not of the family DNA, but the Yod, my goy, my Gentile. What goy? What? All, but see, Kaf Lamed means all, each, every, or any. So if it says the blessing that would belong to your offspring, see, it doesn't say of, and it doesn't say and, but it says all goyi. Every nation, regardless of what nation, regardless of what lineage, regardless of what culture, regardless of what faith or behavior, can it mean, listen, now this brings something to mind where Yeshua is talking, I think it's John 15, Yeshua is talking to the leaders of the Jews. No, John 8:39, that's where it is. And they said, we are Abraham's children. Abraham's our father. And Yeshua said, if Abraham was your father, you'd be doing what Abraham did. And you'd listen to me, you'd recognize me. But Abraham's not your father. The devil's your father, and he's the father of lies, and you guys don't even know what you're talking about. It's like there's this big conflict going on. John chapter 8, verse 39, goes on for about 10, 20 verses. Well, that is kind of the story that's going on here in verse 18. Be Zeraka Kol Goyi Haaretz. Regardless of whatever nation on the earth, those who want to be your children, those who are willing to be your children and do what you did and believe as you believed. Is that what he's saying? Yaakov, Ayin Kuf Bet. Well, he put a yod in front of Ayin Kuf Bet, and it's Jacob. Remember that other word that was the struggle is Shin Ayin Resh, which is the word hairy for Esau. So here, I'd never seen this before until just the other day. Here's the two names which became Isaac's children's names, Esau and Jacob, only it's Sair and Yaakov. The last three words is Asher Shemata Bekoli, that they must listen to my voice. It's like, wait a minute. Think about these two verses. Yahweh had just in chapter 15 promised the land, and he walked through with the pillar of fire and smoke, burning torch in a furnace, and Abraham was knocked incapable. And that you said, I'm going to give this land to you, and there's nothing you can do about that. That's kind of ordained, established. But like the story of the stars in the sky, and like the story of the hula and the phoenix, and the language of what's ordained, the Shafat Chaim, here is the ordained language. There's a story in the ALEF-TAV that if you listen to my voice, you'll get the blessing. And if you do not listen to my voice, if your enemy can trick you, deceive you, or get you in a headlock and give you nuggies until you say, okay, we won't listen to his voice, then they get it. So here's the conflict on earth. Yahweh says something, goes back to the Garden of Eden. Yahweh says something to his people, Adam and Hua. Listen to my voice, do what I say. And you get blessed. And you don't listen to my voice for any reason of trickery. You don't listen to my voice, and your enemies get your inheritance. And it doesn't matter what nation or culture you're from, anywhere on the face of the earth. Following the wake, the footsteps, Akov, Ayin Kuf Bet, Asher Shemata, Shin Mem Ayin Tav. Well, the interesting thing is Shin Mem Ayin means listen or hear, but Shin can be a prefix which means that which belongs to, and Mem Ayin Tav here. Mem Ayin Vav Nun is a dwelling or a lair like a habitat. Mem Ayin Vav Tav is perverted or distorted. Mem Nun Ayin Nun is respond. Hey Ayin Nun is comply. But Mem Ayin Hey is a small grain or an element, a kernel, a seed, like a letter, the smallest thing that you can reduce it to elementally. Listen to every letter of every word of my voice, and you get the inheritance. You are fastened to me, my name skewered like a shish kebab, placed with a name fire extinguisher, hula dance phoenix rising from the ashes of its own consumption, its established ordained words placed over the fire, firebird, fire extinguisher, burned up, destroyed, rising from the ashes, ALEF-TAV. Your offspring take possession of the gates of your enemy. That's otherwise to say, Yerash Shair Avika. Or impoverished by your enemy, guessing how to make you poor, like Balaam gave the advice to Balak, seizing ALEF-TAV, your assessment of your inheritance. If your offspring despises its inheritance, regards ALEF-TAV of no value, your enemy gets what's yours. But following, if you listen, hear, heed my voice, you retrieve your blessing, your enemy catches the tempest. Shema, Shin Mem Ayin Tav, at the time, the essence of every single element. Well, that would be the ALEF-TAV. The blessing manifest as the condition of your offspring, all, each, every, any Gentile nation of the earth following in the wake sequence that they hear, heed my voice. And then jumping ahead to that's verse 18. Verse 14, which was actually a couple verses before, Abraham said, Bahar Yahweh Yirah. So they said, they called the place Yahweh Yirah. Yahweh sees. But Bahar, on the mountain, Yahweh sees. Is that really what he said? The word Bahar, Bet Heresh, means clarify, clear, brighten, explain. Yahweh. Yod Resh Aleph Hey. Yod Resh Aleph Hey is the word for terror. Yod Resh Aleph is fear, revered, honored, dreadful, awe-inspiring. But Resh Aleph Hey, if the Yod is the prefix, means visible, see, perceive, consider, regard, on exhibition, shown. Resh Aleph Vav Yod is worthy, fit, or suitable, evidence or proof. So did he just say on the mountain Yahweh is made known, or on the mountain Yahweh sees? Or did Abraham say to clarify or explain Yahuwah being made perceptible on exhibition as being revered, honored, awe-inspiring, dreadful, but he's worthy, fit, and suitable of explanation of what? Of everything he said? Of every letter of every word? The point is, Yahweh goes through and keeps saying again and again and again, listen to my voice, listen to my voice, listen to my